All righty, got it. Well, good evening and happy 2022. Oh my goodness. And thank you for attending the First State Amateur Radio Club meeting for January. Good to see everybody here. Got a nice little turnout. I know several people are taking the amateur extra class that is also on Thursday nights for like the next 11 weeks. So we are missing some people here tonight. And one person did email that he was not going to be here tonight because a friend had passed away of COVID and there was a funeral there tonight. So anyway, alrighty. So we've got announcements. We have Winter Field Day coming up this Saturday into Sunday. You know, as long as we don't get shut down, and Mike will talk more about that a little bit later. And we also have another presentation that Chet is going to do on the Silent Keys and the history of the club, right, Chet? Going way back.
It's the field day history of the club from way back.
The field day history of the club. So it's kind of one goes in with the other. So at this point, we'll just go ahead, pause, and the treasurer's report, we can do that and then we can move on. Okay. Do we want to go ahead and hold off the Winter Field Day to the end? Or do we want to do that now? Because that's kind of an old business, but current business and announcements.
Yeah, let's hold off on that for a second. That
Okay.
Let's get through, you should get through all the business, Wendy, just to.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All righty.
So there's two big items that we should talk about, and that's one of them.
Okay. And what else, Mike?
Delaware QSO party.
Okay, go ahead.
Club sponsored Delaware QSO party. So that's new business. Bring that up after. So let's go through old business.
Okay. Old business. Let me see. So kind
Wendy,
of old business. Yeah.
I sent you and Dave an email. I went through all the members lists and the dues that we moved forward and the people who paid dues. Did you guys see that?
We did, and I thought Dave actually, or maybe just Dave and I had talked about it.
Okay.
But if people haven't really been around and they haven't paid anything, we need to just kind of drop them off the roster if it's been a couple of years and they're not showing up at meetings and they're not logging into our radio nets. They're always welcome to come back and rejoin if they've already been a previous member. But, you know, if they haven't been reaching out to us, I don't know, thoughts?
Agreed.
Is there a bylaw rule about that, or is this just sort of ad hoc?
I don't know. I'd have to check.
Okay.
Because normally we go by active membership is by dues. So technically we move dues forward for people. So which mainly legally kept them as active members. All right, so I think you, me, and Dave need to have maybe another conversation around that.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Right. I'll make
because
a note
it's kind of sketchy. Speaking of dues, I've had people reach out to me like, how do we pay dues? And we had discussed about using PayPal. And we were talking about somebody using their own personal creation for PayPal accounts. Are you guys good with that? Are we moving forward with that? Where are we with that?
I think Dave said he was okay with it. If we were okay with it, and we were.
I think we were.
Yeah. So wait.
Use PayPal Friends so you don't lose, 3% to,
Friends and family, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're gonna start using the friends option. I was concerned you were thinking about using somebody's friend that created a financial transaction system and was like, no, not doing that.
No.
Is there what was the plan to create the account? Was it someone's personal account and use, or using like an email for the club, like the club callsign@gmail.com?
We don't want to tie a generic email to the account, the club account, because we can't do that.
Okay.
So we pay Dave anyway, so we entrust him as the treasurer to handle that money. So Dave is just going to set up and use his account and we'll pay him just like we would do in person, and then he'll
Mhm.
just transfer the money to the club.
Yeah,
Okay.
people can still mail a check. If
Yep.
we were in person, they could still hand him a $20 bill or whatever, $100 bill if they want to give extra. But however they want to do, or they can do through PayPal. So we're just giving that additional option for people to pay. So people had been reaching out and asking me what we were doing. So at least now we know we can move on with that. And Dave is going to create that account.
Yeah. Excuse me.
He's
Yes.
not weighing in. He's not unmuting his mic. Mr. Treasurer?
You can't hear me?
I can hear you.
I hear you.
Oh. Who's not unmuting
Yeah.
their mic?
Dave.
Well, Bill is off,
Dave's not.
Tom's
He didn't
off,
join.
Frank's off, Alan's off.
He didn't join. Oh, he's not here. Okay. All right.
I'm looking. I'm like,
Wendy.
what do you
I'm
mean he's
looking.
not
I'm
on-
like, why isn't he speaking up? Oh God.
And I was having a flashback to a Cheech and Chong movie going, hey man, Dave's not here, man.
Dave's not here, man.
Okay,
Okay.
then.
All righty. So,
That's
all
okay.
right. Other old business that we need to catch up with. Let me see. The STEM is still on hold, but here's something that we do have. The ARRL has money through a grant of about, I don't know. I have the email and I'll have to forward it to you guys. Actually, I thought I did send it to Mike about the we want to think what we want to do as a club. It's not to buy like a new radio or anything, but we could actually use that money for projects, and we have to apply by March for it to be considered. So I'll be sending out an email for everybody to consider. But who wouldn't do well with some free money in Foster if we ever have the STEM program where we're allowed to start meeting up with people? I thought of that immediately, of things that we could actually do. So if we showed up to a school, you had some stuff. So
In other words,
not
you could bring some swag.
no, I mean not just the cheapy, ARRL mug and pen, but like
What's
real
code key and
real stuff
oscillator?
for them to use for, like, say, building. I don't know, building a little mini, Raspberry Pi or something.
I agree with Ted. We should give him code keys and oscillators.
Yeah.
Would you mind sending me that grant notice?
Yes,
Because
I
I've
will.
got experience writing grants and we can do a quick gather up and go, these are the kinds of things we can do.
I'm gonna throw
Yeah,
that under
I-
new business.
Yeah.
I thought I saw
Um,
something either in QST or the ARR letter that highlighted a Salt Lake City club. So you might want to look into that. There was an article, I think, and maybe kind of what they're doing and how they did it. If you're interested.
Okay, let me see if I can go back through. I had so many emails trying
Yeah.
to queue them up for you guys. But I will get back with you on that, Foster, because I thought of you immediately. And Mike, I did send it to you. I copied you in on it
Okay.
a couple of days ago. So, okay. All right, let me move forward here. We had discussed about the membership process. That, it's 3 events of any club type, whether it's showing up in a meeting, an event like Field Day or the Radio Net or any combination of it. And right now we've had to vote on those people once they do that 3-step process. And if I'm out of order, not following Robert's rules, just bear with me here. Don't get testy, but I would like to make a motion before everybody that instead of having a vote, that we have somebody like the secretary and myself, whoever, leadership, verify that a person has met those 3 requirements and then we can accept their application to join, as opposed to having to vote them in. Any discussion?
So as somebody that's been through this before, you actually have to change your bylaws,
Yeah.
and it's a little bit more than just a motion.
It is.
Right,
We can't
so,
vote
okay,
on it
so-
today.
So we can't vote on it today, but we're going to bring it up through that we could change our bylaws, that a committee, whether it's leadership or a specific person like the secretary, would be able to verify a person. So for example, Dave Scott is our main person who does the nets on the second and fourth Wednesdays of the month. So he keeps a roster of who checks in. He can be our source point for, at some point in time, we get an application from John Doe and we go to Dave, has this person ever checked in any nets? And he goes, oh yeah, I've talked to him like twice a month. Mike can also say, oh yeah, he was in a couple of our meetings, Wendy. Well, he meets the 3 requirements. We can vote in John, or he doesn't have to be voted in. His application can then be processed. So I guess what I'm actually making is a motion to change our bylaws to do that.
Are you asking mostly for the to make sure that somebody's keeping records of something, or are you doing that and suggesting that the candidate be accepted by acclamation if they've met the requirements, and then submit an application? Maybe I'm
not sure I
might be
follow
hearing
why.
something that wasn't said. I'm just trying to.
Okay, so up to this point, Ted, everybody has to be voted in. And the voting in is when a person goes off camera, we say, did they meet? Did they, or had they been here 3 times?
Yeah, sure.
So why do we have to put them off camera and we all discuss? And then somebody says, you've been around for forever, and then, so we're holding up a person joining up with us. And, it just seems like a real.
The voting's always been
Formality
tongue
that-
in cheek. So basically, you did 3 meetings and we voted, and we made up some wild story about you, and you came back
Yeah.
into the room.
Right.
It's always been tongue in cheek.
Of course.
And to change this, we're going to have to change the Constitution, which is that'll take months.
Yeah,
But
if you want to have a bylaw committee and put together stuff like that, that might be the way to go. But you could.
Only a couple of lines that would have to be changed, and it's something that could be done quickly. Discussed, voted on, approved, and then we can move on.
everybody has to be notified, every member of the club in writing.
We understand that.
Okay. Yeah.
We understand that.
Right.
Then you
I'm
have
bringing
to.
this.
Yeah, it
I'm
takes like
bringing
3
this up
months.
be-
Yeah.
Well, okay, so it can take 3 months, but I think that it's time to maybe move on. Out of all the other groups that I'm a part of, I've never had to be voted on for this kind of a thing. So, just to be a member. And I understand the importance of having some kind of limit, you just show up and all of a sudden you're a member and then that means you can vote. No, we want somebody who's going to be committed to being here.
Sure.
So, and I think everybody that's on this call has been very, very active in some format, whether they're checking into the nets or they're showing up for field days or they're at least attending the meetings. And, what are we about? We're about, sharing the camaraderie of the hobby and helping each other and, being able to grow in the hobby. And, I was called an Elmerette yesterday or the other day on Tuesday night. And I was like, I said, how sweet is that? Because I'm still being mentored by all of you. And somebody actually looked to me as being their mentor. And I was like, wow, that's huge. That was, my first person.
You have your first.
Yeah, and I also got
so
my
you're
first
really official now.
QSO card too
Yeah.
for Parks on the Air.
You're really
So,
on board.
I want us to stay focused on what we're really about as a club. I don't want to make it,
Wendy, I agree. All right. I think a lot of us on this call would all agree on everything that you just said. Okay. The thing is, there, unfortunately, being the guy who works for the United States government, I'm going to speak like the government. There's a process we have to adhere to, right? And so the pain is this, the pain is changing the process, right? Once the process is changed, things open up and things move faster, right? And I think what we need to, I think all of us here understand is that I think most of us are willing to look to this process of trying to reform it, make it a little better, and then we, and achieve the things you're setting out to do. Yeah, I was the same way when I was in your seat there, right? So, I mean, I guess the right thing to do here, and boy, here, listen to me now, it is to form a committee. Do this in the background as we have our meetings, and then as we're ready, as things progress, this is presented to the forum who show up at the meetings, and then when we have pretty much of a consensus of what is being, edited, then we would send it out to the clubs for voting.
And
Okay.
there's
Alrighty.
nothing to stop us from just agreeing to keep those records of who checks into a net and stuff like that, whether it's in the bylaws.
No, that's
or not.
important. Ted, that's important, and that always has been a frustration on my part. Even as I was a new member, or even before I was a member, I show up at meetings, and how do I know I was getting accounted for, right? And that's important. And Mike, I did it. Mike did it when when I was president. So it's the responsibility of the senior members, the voted members to kind of have to keep some tally of this over.
Mhm.
I try to
Yeah.
do that in the meeting minutes.
Right. I
Right.
think we've
And
been
then
pretty good at it. We've
minutes,
been pretty good.
yeah, so in the meeting minutes, we have a list of everybody who showed up. So, we have that. Dave Scott, you're muted right now, but how far back do your records go for the log of the radio nets?
I just want to interrupt you. I don't think we need to keep
Yeah.
track. I think we only need to keep the tally until we accept if we change this. So
Mhm.
assuming we do change it, all we need to do is keep the tally up to the 3 in order to process the application. After that, it's just a matter of whether you're a current member or not. So there's
Right.
no real reason to maintain. And again, our membership is defined by paying dues. So you literally
Right.
could show up one meeting a year, pay your dues. According to bylaws, you're still a member.
Right. Well, what my question to him was, how far back does he go, that if Joe Schmo shows up and he says, I've been on 7 radio nets and Dave doesn't know who that guy is. You know what I mean? So, if he's saying that he's applying for membership, he's never been to any of our meetings, but he's been on the radio nets every time, because there are people who do that. I've talked to people on the radio with that. So Dave, how well are you with your records if somebody was going to use a radio net?
Maybe probably about the past 6 months, I was doing some.
That's fine.
I was doing some cleaning when I was sequestered with my COVID thing around the holidays, and I trashed out a lot of stuff. But I probably got about the past 6 months of the nets.
Okay, and to be honest with you, when I've been on the First State nets, I also keep a log, but then I like ditch them after a couple of months.
Yeah.
So I only go
You
back.
guys not use that app that's out there? Net Control?
I write it down on paper instead of.
Netlock. Yeah, I it's easier for me to just write it down on a piece of paper, because like if I had like headphones and a speaker, and I could type on a computer at that, but I'm not that good, so I'm old school.
Gotcha.
Does the bylaws state the amount of time? So within one fiscal year for 3 activities? Is that the
It says
issue?
3 events.
3 events within the fiscal year?
I don't think it says that.
Maybe past 12 months.
I think
Well, I'll give you an example. Okay, there is a person that got voted in last year who had not been active in anything for over a year. And it was due to the fact that she had been in school. She couldn't make any of these meetings between work and school. They conflicted with when our meeting nights were. And she doesn't have reliable comm for her to participate in the radio nets. But she had been in stuff a year before that, pretty active, showing up, I guess, in meetings. And Alan was actually able to verify and confirm her to become a member. And I had been around for like a year, with radio nets, and I never heard her. So I was like, well, who is this person, right? But Alan said, I know her, we're good. And I was like, okay, cool. So, as long as somebody's able to verify with somebody, whether it's, Dave saying, oh, they check in the nets all the time, or somebody says, oh, they showed up at like 17 field days for the past 17 years.
So I think that that's going to be up to the executive committee to do that.
Yes. Yes. So we'll verify with each other. Yep.
So I think the change you're looking for is not a vote, but a verification from the executive committee that the person has met the requirements for membership.
Yes. Yes, correct. So
Okay.
who wants to be a part of the committee to help reword this part of our bylaws?
I
No.
will.
For my sins.
I will. You can put me down for that.
Ted, Foster, you're not a dues paying.
Do we have
member
any
yet?
lawyers in the club?
No, but I'm really good at Robert's rules to orders, and actually probably what I ended up doing would be snag the verbiage from the last two times we tried to do this, and just put them back out again.
I think.
Yeah,
the
but you're not a
timing- I
member
think-
though. That's the issue.
I think what we're looking at is
Yeah.
simpler.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, between fraternities, the
Okay.
community association here and stuff like that, I mean, I'm used to a lot of that stuff, but certainly anybody else here meets those
Okay.
qualifications.
Alan, do you want to help? Rich, you had made some comments. Do you want to help with that?
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm willing to put some time into this. I'm let's just say not as versed to these regulations as much as I was president, as some folks who've been in the club who endured longer in the club, so they know, look, let's put it this way. There are potentially some pitfalls that we need to look at in the so-called club rules, right? I mean, I'm okay with that. I mean, I guess so. I mean, anyone else here?
I'll help out.
Okay, so let's do this.
Is that you, Tom?
Tom?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
I said I'd help
So-
out.
I turned just in time. I thought I saw a green box.
Tom.
Okay, so I got Alan, Tom, myself, Wendy.
Me. Ted.
Okay. I really don't think
Okay.
it's going to take much.
No, it's going to be easy.
I
But
would
we'll start
suggest.
working on-
I threw that under new business.
Yeah, let's get that there, and let's set up a meeting afterwards so that we can get this off this meeting, and
Yeah.
we can
Well,
have that.
this was part of our new business from last month's
Yeah.
meeting, so now it's kind of like continuing. So, let me see. So, other old business that we have.
We still need programs, unless Chet got more.
So Chet has a program for February.
Yeah, the last
And
note
I
I
think
have is we need something for April,
Hold on.
and then we need something after July. Is
Let
that
me
still
consult-
correct?
Let me consult my brains.
I think.
No, I thought you had me for April.
I have Ed Fong on a dual band VHF UHF antenna for April. And I was hoping that W3 ASW would give a report on winter field day in March.
That's what I have down. March.
Okay, and there was some discussion, but I had May and June as field day planning and July as field day results.
Yep.
And I have penciled in for September. Wendy asked a review of remote operation, which I do all the time. So I can take a couple of the talks that I had and bring them up to date and trim it down and make a presentation on remote operation for September. So
What was
August,
April's?
Octo-
I'm sorry, I missed the note.
August, October, November, December are all open.
We're gonna need one for review of the Delaware QSO party.
When is
Yeah.
that?
It's in
When is the
May.
QSO party, Mike?
It's in 2 weeks.
It's the first weekend in May. But it depends on when
Oh, that's right,
Gary
we
and,
moved it again.
Rich and anybody else that's working on it finishes the job.
I'm still stuck on it being February. Sorry.
Oh, my lights just flashed again.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Hey, good thing you're on
But-
your own device.
But I'm using my phone as my hotspot, so.
So Mike, if you had all things were perfect, when would you move it to, if not February?
It's in May now. We used to have it in February, and then we moved it to May, and it's just never removed from my head that it's in May. And I should know because I can never make May because it's usually Mother's Day weekend.
Okay, got it.
So
So how come you
I'm-
can't come on Mother's Day weekend? There's no NASCAR races that day.
Turn to the left.
until my kids move out. Chet, I missed the note for April. Dual band what?
Well, it's a dual band VHF UHF antenna.
Antenna. Okay, thank you.
Headphone
Hey, Chad?
WB6IQN. Yes,
Chad, what did you want to do about the Nano VNA?
I'm still looking for somebody to do that.
I thought I sent you an email.
Well, maybe you did. Are you available to do that?
Yeah,
Can we put you down for August?
if you want, yeah, that'd be all right.
Okay, so that fills in August. Thank you very much, Mike. I do appreciate that. Somehow that got by me. You probably did send the email.
And what was
Thanks,
that?
Mike.
What's it
Nano
called?
VNA.
Yeah. Nano VNA,
Thank you.
but it's a device that's useful
Yep.
for analyzing antennas and bandpass filters and feed lines and all kinds of stuff. You can use it apparently, Mike, you can use it as a grid dip oscillator. Is that correct?
Essentially for the same purpose, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ted, you're doing that?
I haven't, but I own one. I haven't done that
Oh,
with it. But
No, Mike.
Mike's doing
Mike
that.
is doing it.
W3
W3
ASW. is gonna do
ASW.
it.
And you can use it as a vector analysis too. I've seen folks use it for that.
Okay, cool. Alrighty, that's our old business with a little bit of newness sprung into it. Any other old business, Mike, that you can think of?
No, I think we can move off
Okay.
of that.
Okay, all right, new business. Anybody have any new business for us? Crickets,
That could be a good thing
that could be a good thing?
for now. Yes.
Okay,
Wendy, the
Yes.
note that I had in here from last month for the Zoom meeting was that the meeting link was good till November. Is that correct? Or is it good
Okay,
for the
so-
whole year?
Okay, so I have sent out to everybody the other day that everything is booked for October through October because that's the fourth Thursday of the month. My personal this account that I've paid for up to this point was reimbursed by ARRL through November. So November's meeting may actually be after that runs out, but I'll be fine with that because I got to thinking about it. I was like, I do so much Zoom anyway. I don't mind paying $140 for a year, to be honest with you. So if, we can worry about that after, November, if I want to submit, hey, you guys want to pay me $5 a month for your portion of the usage, once a month. We can talk about that. So we're good. I've got everything booked. The email link that you guys had to join in tonight is going to be the same one all the way through October's meeting. So keep that in your calendar, mark it in for your fourth Thursday of the month, and you'll be good.
Thank you.
And then we have to make November and December's the third week. I'll make a new link for that. Okay. We've had a lot of people get added to our email distribution list. There have been a lot of people that have been on 825 and they hear about us probably because we're mentioning Winter Field Day and whatever. And it's really been cool that we've had a lot of people join up with us by email, and hopefully they'll also end up joining as members. Mike, I've kept Mike busy. Add this person to the list. In fact, I said it to one guy twice. He goes, there, we were added. It's like, sorry. So anybody else have anything that they wish to share, add? Foster's shaking his head no. Okay. Well, we want to go on to our activity. Then, do we want to start with Chet and his
Well,
presentation on what?
Are we gonna, Winter Field Day is operating under, we're kind of operating it as the club, so let's do that under new business.
Do we want to do that first? Okay.
Yeah, the programs are after, technically after the meeting closes. They're
We
not
have a
part of the
program
meeting.
tonight? I wasn't sure. We have a program tonight?
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Chet's going to do a presentation of our history of our
Oh, that's right.
Winter
Okay.
Field Days.
Very good.
So it kind of follows, I guess, what Mike was going to do. So Mike, you want to go ahead and talk about Saturday?
Give him the floor.
Sure. So I've got no emails for operators. So I'm assuming the people that were at the last meeting we had about this, when was that, last week, are going to participate some.
Yeah, we're just going to show up.
Yeah, you're just gonna show up, okay.
Yeah,
So
Mike,
we'll have to,
I had plans, but then the soccer schedule messed with that whole thing, so I'm gonna have to go on the fly. Sorry.
okay, so that's what we'll do. So we have a special call, W3 Foxtrot. Instead of K3, we're W3 for winter. And that's a call sign that's active now, and it'll expire on the 31st. So it's only for 1 week. Actually, it's from the 25th, which was what, 2 days ago?
Yep.
And it runs till the 31st. And then what else? Alan's got the batteries. We're all set. We got 2 rigs. As a matter of fact, after this meeting, I'll put the other rig together and get that ready to go. I bought a power cord for it. Separate power cord, because the power cord that it uses is plugged into a power supply. So this one's going to run off of 12 volts. So, and we have Alan's buddy pole, you call it, Alan?
Yeah, I got a buddy pole. Mhm.
Buddy pole. We have the, like you said, Ted, we could put up some wire antennas if you have any. We also have the butternut we can stick up there, and that we'll be using that. So we're gonna have 2 rigs. I think we're kind of figuring, depends. We probably should go with 1 rig if we're gonna have limited operations.
That and batteries, because you gotta remember your power issue too, right?
Yeah. So we may just go to 1 rig. We're not sure. Depends on how, and it depends on the weather too. So I guess if we'll take a trip over there tomorrow, Wendy, we can go over there and figure out whether or not they close the site because of inclement weather. So,
Okay. All right. And then we can send out more emails to the Reflector Friday night or Saturday morning. So everybody watch your emails, but Saturday morning first thing, because the plan was to be there at 11 to start setting up antennas and stuff.
yeah,
So
it starts
if
at
we-
2. Yeah,
Right.
it starts at 2, so it's going to run 24 hours. I don't know if anybody's going to stay overnight or not, but I think it'll be fairly warm. Those things are fairly warm because I got a heater. So
I'm looking into, just letting you know, I have a friend of mine who has one of these, what do you call it, energy packs. It's got a, I've got the size. This thing is, he can light his house off with this thing. He said he's willing to lend it to me. So that I'm going to see if I get a hold of it anyway as a backup, or maybe a primary, because I'm still like, since we're not using a generator, this is gonna be, I mean, this is good e-com stuff. But do me one favor, Wendy and Mike, please let me know as soon as possible, because I have to start breaking stuff down in my basement and bringing it upstairs and getting it prepared to get it up into the truck. Right, so the sooner we know, the better. Where we on that, okay? If there's a no-go.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
yeah. Can you email me your telephone numbers?
Yeah, sure. I'll put
Okay,
it in
Mike,
the
you
chat.
too.
I'll put it in the chat here. There's no issue there.
I have a question. Does anybody know if
Yes.
there's any access issues to getting into the campground? I mean, normally if
No.
you rent a campsite at in the state parks, they have somebody in the guard station and they're looking for tags and they have a limit to the number of people at a campsite and that sort of thing.
I drove in today like I own the place. I mean,
Yeah, the last I know, Ken, when I was there, they had talked about that, and they said that if you had people there and there were a lot of cars, that they had to park in the lot, which is up by the shack. But I don't think we're going to have more than 5 to 10 people anyway. So
Yeah, and I don't think there's anybody in that guard shack in the wintertime anyway, so it may not be.
Okay,
I don't think
yeah.
so. I've never
Yeah.
seen anybody there.
Yeah, no,
Nobody.
winter time is not the issue for the state parks. It's always those spring, summer, early fall. That's where you have to have like the pass and that sort of thing for some of those areas. So I don't think we're going to have a problem. It's just if they actually physically put up some kind of a barricade or whatever. So, all right, thanks, Alan. Oh, okay.
So Mike, this is Mitch. Help a novice out. Are there any like formal contesting rules?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can explain that to you, or you can go to the site. There's a site. If you type in Winter Field Day
Okay.
on the internet, it'll take you to that site.
Mike is all excited because there's no FT8 and FT4 allowed. He's all excited.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
oh, so it's real radio.
It's real radio.
Exactly.
Human
Oh,
has
radio.
to be involved.
Not fair. Jerry's
Okay.
not
At
here.
least with JS8 call, you have to do something. Not press a button. I'm going to go make a sandwich.
Make
Press a
me
button. I'm
one.
going to go.
Let's not get on that debate. I'm sorry I opened up that can of worms. Sorry.
It's your fault, Alan.
Yes, I know.
Alan,
Please.
or Mike, Mike W3 ASW Mike, I just put a thing in there for you to give me your phone number.
Oh,
Okay, please. And so is that all we need to discuss about Winter Field Day?
Let's see. There should be some more logistics here. Like I said, let me throw a few out here, Mike. All right, we got power. I'll bring table. I got a table I can bring. Everybody bring chairs just in case. Throw a chair in the trunk. And Foss made a good point. I mean, dress warm, even though I think Mike is planning on bringing a space heater that we can throw in on the 110 volts inside the unit. To kind of keep it warm. But I'm like the one thing that I'll be frank with you guys. I don't know how high up we get the antenna. I think I can get my antenna on a tripod up around 20 feet at the most. And it may not be so effective on 40 meters. But we can see what we do.
Point of order. Today at work, cough, cough, I was in Bellevue State Park for 45 minutes waiting for something to happen that I had to keep from falling asleep. So I took 5 watts and a 62-foot piece of wire 9 feet off the ground. I mean, I could just touch it, and worked Indiana, Virginia, New York, West Virginia. I mean, there are better antennas out there, but I think you'll be all right.
Okay.
And I'm going to bring a spool of about 110 feet of 18 gauge stranded, like house wire, like wire your house with wire.
Right.
And you load that thing up, you're gonna be fine.
All right. It's just gonna be a little more challenging because it's gonna be cold and it's gonna be snowy. That's all.
Exactly. Yeah. I think survival is going to be the main skill here.
Yes.
Radio down.
Survival.
That's why it's
And
an
we're gonna,
exercise.
and we're gonna bring a real tuner this time too, we're not gonna rely on the one inside the radio.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's important. Alrighty. So is that it for field day? So far?
Yeah, everybody's gonna bring a chair.
I said that.
And that's the
Yep.
standard, rule for any of the contests or anything that we do. If you're gonna sit, you need to bring your own chair.
Bring a chair.
Ken Sweeney said he'll be joining us, Mike. He sent me an email.
Of course, food with lots of carbs in it and stuff like that to keep going.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Yeah, and food, we're not gonna have a big smorgasbord like we did last year at the regular summer field day.
Right.
This
so
one's you're on your own.
You're on your own.
Hey, wait a minute. Joanne, where are you gonna be? Joanne, where are you in all this?
Joanne wasn't the one who did it. Joanne wasn't the one who made your food. That
Right.
was Jenna. What was her name?
Oh, that's right.
Was it Jennifer or?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Got confused.
Yeah.
Where is she?
Yeah.
Where's Jennifer?
Okay,
her work is messed up from her. I remember there was one email that I had from her a long time ago, and she said her work schedule is messed up again.
So
Who's
I
bringing the
have
grill?
one other
One of them's
comment,
bringing the grill,
Henry.
Mike. What's that?
KC3TIL. He's got a
Oh
slash.
yeah. So
eight.
what? Stop.
What?
Stop. Okay, because if you're done your part, I'm back. Okay.
Oh, excuse me.
You're excused. Speaking of Henry, he's the one that I said called me an Elmerette. Okay.
Yep.
And he just took his general test tonight and passed.
All right.
So
Awesome.
Yep.
Thank
So-
you. And learned that I need a math course.
I'm your man.
when do
Who
you
was
start
that?
studying for your extra, dude?
Oh.
It's a killer. It's a killer.
After I get some experience, my gear is actually supposed to be in. I'm supposed to be picking it up tomorrow, all except for one radio. So
Okay.
I
Cool.
still have to get things up and running.
Are you still thinking about trying to stop down and seeing us at the yurt at Lum's Pond on Saturday if the weather's not too
Probably
bad?
not the way the weather is going.
Oh, come on down,
Yeah,
practice.
we'll have to see how it
Chicken.
goes.
Well, okay, so to Henry's defense, he lives in Downingtown, Pennsylvania. So it's not like
Wow.
Well, that explains a lot.
It does.
Uh,
Oh, I drink the water up here. It's not a good thing.
yeah, I was gonna say, so Pennsylvania, having been from Pennsylvania, they don't take care of the roads. So it's like, he'll never get out of Downingtown. Well, actually he's outside of Downingtown, but
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's actually why I'm making the run to Delaware tomorrow morning, taking a couple hours of work so I can go get the gear. Otherwise, I won't see it for another week.
are you going to HRO tomorrow?
Yeah,
What time are you gonna be there? Because I have to pick something up.
pretty much right around opening.
At
Right
9?
about 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
What time?
They
10
open
o'clock?
at 10
Yeah,
o'clock.
I'll be there at 10 as well. Because
Oh,
then
cool.
I have lunch at 11. So yeah, I have something that I have to pick up too. So I'll
Excellent.
see you there.
Awesome.
We'll make an appointment.
Excellent.
We'll actually get to meet in person for once. Yeah, that's cool. So
Sounds
sorry,
good.
Mike. Sorry, field day, Mike. I didn't want you stealing my thunder because you started calling him out, and I was like, that's because I kept saying, "Are we done? Are we done with this?"
Well, I just noticed
like,
it, I noticed the AG,
Yeah.
so I thought, hey, you know what? He
Yep.
upgraded. I didn't know
Yep,
it was
he
tonight.
Yeah,
just
tonight,
that's why
yeah.
I'm late. I was taking the exam.
So
Yeah.
the old saying is Chet and Frank will remember this one. If you don't know anything about phase angles, forget it, right?
What's an angle? Is that
Phase
that
angles.
within
You don't know anything about phase
geometry
angles, you
somewhere?
better forget the extra test.
Yeah. Like I
Yeah,
said,
I'm
I need a math
struggling.
course.
Yeah. Anyway, so congratulations. So Henry took his tech about a month ago. No, 3 weeks ago, right? Is it
Yeah,
3 weeks
3
since you
weeks
took
ago
your tech?
tonight. Yeah.
So, and I'm a VE with an online group called Aurora Amateur Radio Group, and that's how I met him. He was one of my examinees. And so, yeah, congratulations. And he had messaged me, he said, I won't be at the meeting because I'm going to go ahead and take my general. So I was surprised when he checked in. I was like, and I saw the AG, I was like, oh my God, he passed, yay. So congratulations. Anyway, moving right along to more new business, Joe Gribb is here. And I wanted to give him a chance to talk as our ARRL section manager. So Joe, take it away.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for that. I wasn't ready for that one. Just good evening to all. Got here late because the missus and I went out and had a little Mexican, so we were able to go out before the big storm. Not too much going on right yet, but keep your ears and eyes open for the weekend activities. There have been a couple of nets that have been announced already due to the upcoming snow. So please, number one, make sure you're safe. Number two, make sure your family's safe, and make sure that you check into the nets as you can and see if you can participate and help. Other than that, everybody take care. Hopefully the weather service will be wrong again. Who knows whether they're wrong 4 or 5 times in a row. So they got to get it right sooner or later, I think. Anyway, everybody have a good evening. KI3B.
One last thing before you sign off, Joe. I did mention, and I couldn't find the email while I was trying to talk about the grant that was going on for monies that if people had a project that they'd like to get funded.
Sure.
You want to talk about that briefly?
Sure. Okay. In April, okay, the league has gotten some money that they are talking about distributing up to 2,500 or 25,000 per club. Now, a couple stipulations. Number one, you can't go out and buy an FTDX 5000 and say we're going to use this as field day. Doesn't work that way. The projects are going to be decided by the board, what they're going to be willing to fund. So if you have a list of things you would like the club to do for public service or things to enhance a system that's already there, like, for example, just pulling something out of the air, let's say maybe Paul wants to work on the mesh system some more. Maybe he has had something else he wanted to set up to add to the existing mesh system that's already up. Things like that. You may be able to get a couple of dollars towards that. Again, nothing's going to be done until April. The parameters for this are supposed to come out in April. The application form is supposed to come out in April. So I don't know what the timing is from when you put your application in and when you get approved, how long it'll take to physically get a check. I don't know that yet. But it was announced in yesterday's ARRL Club News that came out, the Club Bulletin. So there's some more details in there. But anyway, this is something for all the clubs to start discussing. What would we like to do and how could we make use of some money that we could get? I'm sure getting the big money is going to be a little tough, but if you can come up with a reasonable application to some funding, you probably be able to get a few dollars from the league. So start figuring out what you want as a club. Start figuring out, if we could get a grant, big screen TV. Yeah, I'm sure. Get me too while you're there. But anyway, start figuring out as a club, where could we use some money to help in the area and help as club activities. So again, if you go to the ARRL Club News that just came out yesterday, you can see more details. As I hear things, I'll be happy to let people know.
Thanks, Joe.
Any questions before I go mute?
No?
Boy.
So Foster, that's what I was referring to. So,
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay,
Again,
it's good. It's good to know that they're out in the rules and stuff will be out in April, and they'll decide
Right.
that's that.
So I
Okay.
can't
that
hire a
doesn't mean
realtor.
you can't start thinking about it.
I can't go out and hire a realtor to speculate some land for our shack.
Sure.
I don't think so. So like I said, I mean, you know, as a club, start thinking about projects maybe the club might want to back. Like I said, I'm not guaranteeing anything, but you might be able to get a few dollars tossed your way to try to help you achieve the goal that you guys have in mind.
Joe, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What's the overall total pool of money?
I thought it was 500,000.
I think it was like 500 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
there's
But
there's
again,
lots of pie to go around.
Yeah, they're giving, well, this is another thing that the league's doing, which surprised me. And that is you do not have to be an ARRL affiliated club to petition for this money. So
Oh,
Yeah, it's probably by law. They probably, because of legal issues.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure there's something, but the point is you can have a club of 5 guys, just whatever. You could have a club of 5 guys that could put in for some money, or you could have a club like the Dayton Amateur Radio Club. You know, I don't know how many members they have. I know they have quite a few, and they'll can put in for some money, and everybody's request is going to be considered. So it isn't like, oh, well, you're a big club, you do a lot, versus the 5 guys who get together for field day and, hey, we want to, I don't know, provide educational materials at the library or something.
But, you know,
Yeah.
kidding aside.
I think expanding the mesh network is a really good idea. Can you do multiple projects? Is it only just, you can only do one, or?
Don't know the parameters yet. Like I said, that'll come out in April.
And kidding aside, I mean, you know, just for the club members, it's a thought. You know, I say shack, I don't mean it, but maybe, I know we have a tent for our field day, maybe something a little more elaborate for our field day, something bigger that we can accommodate our field day. That would be a good idea. Just throw that out there.
You know, and or in the case of an emergency, you have a shelter that could be set up.
Right, exactly.
I mean,
Right.
that's what I'm saying now. Start thinking about what you could do that could benefit the club and the public, not just the club.
Mhm.
Sounds good.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah. We have a lot to discuss with that. We'll have to, as the time gets closer, we can put together a little committee and start forming ideas, a wish list, you know.
Yeah.
Of
Can't wait
things that-
too
that
long
would
though,
benefit.
Wendy. Can't wait too long because there's be a lot of competition for that money.
No, I know. So I'm thinking, you know, we need to start talking about that. So their rules will come out, but we can start, you know, putting together a wish list. So everybody, you know, start emailing me and Mike, and you know, we'll start, you know, forming stuff, and then we can put together a committee maybe by next month, and you know, develop those ideas. Sound good?
Right. If anybody has any questions, you can email me. My email address is on the Delaware section, and I'm commonly available. You know, I don't hide anything, so feel free to email me if you have any questions, and I'll do what I can to try to answer them. Okay?
Sounds good, Joe. Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate you making it here tonight.
No problem.
Okay. Any other new business? Anybody else? Alan, you have your hand raised.
He's clapping.
You do.
Just clapping for Joe.
Oh, he's clapping. Oh, that's a clap. Okay.
So Wendy, so since we're calling things out and you called me out for not having my call sign in my name, your name is just your name.
Oh, really? Did you change me?
No,
Or is that what after I
no,
came
I
back?
don't play dirty that
Oh.
way.
No, you know what? That's probably when my power went out. Because remember, my lights flashed again, and I bet you something happened.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you believe? I don't believe that one.
Okay, here you go. All right, you want me to change my? Okay, hold on a second. You guys haven't seen it yet. Here you go. Wait a minute.
Wow.
Whoa! Wait, whoa.
Look what I
There's
started.
something going on with. You started something. Oh, come on. There's something going on. Okay.
Come on, Madam President, type it in.
Yep. There we go.
Oh, there we go. Oh, yes. Boss.
All righty. Yeah, when I got bumped off and had to rejoin, I never realized that it erased me. Anyway, all right. Anybody else have any topics, anything that they'd like to bring up before we have Chet do his presentation?
Are you going to talk about Delaware QSO party?
No, I had the month wrong. I'm sorry, Tom.
Okay.
Yeah, we have time to discuss that.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. Going once, going twice, new business, going 3 times.
Make
I make a
Henry,
motion
nice
the
having
meeting
you.
be closed.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Aye.
Hi.
Opposed? Aye. All right. All right. Let me stop the recording so I have 2 different recordings.
Okay.